Since I was old enough to know what one was, I have wanted a 1955 Chevrolet. I watched a black 55 150 roll into a strange town and square off against a little yellow hot rod on TV one night when I was a kid, and I've been hooked on 55s ever since. The shape of the dash, the body lines, the style and the emblems, they just don't make stuff like that anymore. So years go by, and the money never comes along to buy a nice one. And I told myself one day that I'm just going to have to piece myself one together. I drove for hours to buy what you see here. It had been someone else's parts car. Today I can give you lots of reasons why I should have left it there, but that day I brought it home. I thought the floors were repairable and all its missing parts would be found somewhere eventually. I stripped and painted the frame with Eastwood chassis black in my backyard and already had most of the parts to build a Vortec headed 350. So I did that, and then I started piecing the body back together. As luck would have it, I had a friend who had a rotisserie that he would lend me while I started trying to piece the floors back together. I didn't know what I was doing, so I just started with the trunk. I ordered a new pan from Classic Muscle in North Carolina and some SPI epoxy primer and went to work. I sandblasted everything with a little 20-pound pot and a portable compressor. It took forever, but it's all I had. I borrowed a MIG welder from a guy next door to tack it in. Then I started patching the floors. I spent a bit of time trying to save what was there, but I just wasn't happy with how it was coming together, so I cut the whole mess out with a drill and a sawzall and went with a brand new floor. I had never put one of those in either, but I worked it in right by myself. I tacked that in and installed a rebuilt Muncie and I had a drive shaft made for it, and I finally had something that would crank and move. Here's where I took a fender next door to the neighbors and put a new patch in it over the headlight. I hooked the drum brakes back up so I could yard drive it and started blasting the outside, but it became clear that saving the quarters wouldn't be an option. I bought some new skins and some doors for it at the Charlotte Auto Fair. The driver's left got a new door, the right side got a new bottom and a door skin, and the car got sent to my uncle so my dad and I could weld on the new quarters. My dirt shelter's pretty level, but I wanted to align those quarters up on a concrete floor. I brought it back, fixed a few dents in the roof, did some paint, put the windshield in, and the rest of the glass in also. The side glass was cut by a local glass shop. A little wheel dressing and some blocking. Then I peeled the front end off again and changed the color on the firewall. I should have pulled the engine and repainted that too, but I didn't. I was just too close to being able to drive it. The inner fenders got cut in, the trunk got painted, and the body got a coat of some SPI epoxy that I used on the inner fenders. Then there was the wiring. American Auto Wire makes a good kit, but it looked like such a mess. Everything got lit up one wire at a time with no problems though.